Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows and try to release a new review every day from Monday to Friday. Today's movie is a Norwegian war drama called Narvik. It follows two perspectives, Gunnar, a soldier, and his wife Ingrid, as they live through the invasion of Narvik and the subsequent battles that took place between the Allied forces and the Germans during World War II. It's a story of tragedy and survival that shows us how the people of Narvik felt about being caught up in the middle of the war and how they reacted to their situation. The film shows off beautiful landscapes and horrific battle sequences while telling a captivating tale. It begins with Gunnar and his fellow soldiers returning to Norway from a previous deployment. He gets leave to see his wife Ingrid and his son, but has to leave in the middle of the night when the Germans take over. He and his fellow soldiers retreat from the town, blowing up the train tracks as they leave. The story then swaps over to his wife, Ingrid's perspective. She works at the consulate as a translator for the German diplomat. When the war breaks out, she continues to work for the Germans, but also helps two English diplomats escape and hide out. As the war rages on, she supplies them with information about the German troops, and they relay it onward. The movie continues to flip back and forth between Ingrid and Gunnar for the rest of the film. It switches perspective 5 times in total, and often skips time between perspective changes. The film ends up being structured into 5 different stories. 2 stories focus on Gunnar, and 2 focus on Ingrid. The last story is about both of them. The 5 stories together tell the story of a couple torn apart who struggle to survive and reunite. Each mini-story starts off with a small on-screen write-up that explains where we are in the war's timeline and the relevant information for the upcoming story. Then the story plays out in full before the cycle starts over again. The 5 stories work wonderfully together. However, the time skips that happen between the stories can make the experience feel a little disjointed. We jump from place to place and character to character, and the first 2 times it happens, it's weird. After that, the little breaks start to feel more like a little respite from the war, a quick reset. The film splits its time between 2 major characters, and both of them are rich and nuanced people that go through a lot over the course of events. Gunnar and Ingrid Toft. Gunnar is played by Carl Martin Egsbo. Gunnar is a young soldier who is local to Narvik and filled with Norwegian pride. When Narvik is first invaded, he leaves with the other soldiers, but his head is filled with thoughts of home. Over the course of the film, he suffers terribly, rallies, and protects his friends and fellow soldiers, and bravely leads a daring attack on the Germans. Egsbo shows off every human emotion imaginable while being dragged through the war. He creates a compelling character that serves as a model soldier and human being. His story takes us through the hardships of war, watching soldiers die, and having to take bold actions to survive. Ingrid's story is a spy thriller that sees her snooping around, meeting with different groups, and spending all of her free time with her son and father-in-law. She's crossing the Germans and taking on incredible risks to help the Allies. Her biggest concern is her son, and over the course of the film, she's forced to take drastic measures to save him. Christine Hartgen plays Ingrid. She's an intelligent woman who speaks softly and keeps her tongue in check. She speaks at least 3 different languages, English, German, and Norwegian, and speaks clearly and intelligently in all 3. She has great chemistry with Gunnar's actor, and she nails the scared mother, the fraught wife worried about her husband, and the civilian just trying to survive. Visually, the film has a bunch of stunning moments. Every time a landscape shot comes up on screen, it is either a beautiful view of a neat little oceanside town, or mountainsides and hills covered in fluffy white snow. The battles take place in the hills and mountainsides with a bit of fighting next to railway tracks, and the scenes in the city are mostly of intense meetings and citizens hiding in increasingly secure shelters. The battle sequences are long and smooth, with as little editing as they could get away with. The action isn't brutal or especially violent, but the screams of the injured men and the body parts and fake blood coating the ground paint a slightly more gruesome picture. The scenes from the city start off somewhat normal with a bit of tension as the Nazis move in and start setting up. When the first bombs hit, we see the destruction and devastation they cause. As the war progresses, we see building after building reduced to rubble, and the picturesque town from the beginning is left in shambles by the end. Sound-wise, the film is very loud with a lot of dramatic instrumental tracks backing up 80 to 90% of the movie. It's a rare moment when there isn't any music, but each track tends to fit perfectly with the mood of the scene. The tracks are usually made from 1 or 2 instruments playing at a time, they never have any vocals, and they're always designed to elicit a specific emotion. Squealing violins for tense moments, soft piano melodies for lovey-dovey moments, and the sound of war mixed with a rising tense tone for battle scenes. Overall, I really enjoyed Narvik. It's a solid war movie that shows the Battle of Narvik from a Norwegian perspective. It's filled with lots of drama, some decent action, and a lot of excitement. Ingrid and Gunnar are both captivating characters, and their actions incite a thought-provoking story. 8 out of 10. Just a final thought here and a little bit of a spoiler. I like the film, but the ending suggests that the English and the French abandoned Norway, and doesn't give an explanation as to why. The truth is that France fell during the Battle of Narvik. It was captured during the Blitzkrieg by the Germans, and the English and the French were leaving to protect their homes. They didn't just abandon the Norwegians.